Today, we're going to talk about how the role of the US presidency has changed over time. The presidency is one of the most powerful positions in the world today, but it did not start that way. Over time, it has grown a lot because of national crisis, public expectations, and the way the government itself has expanded. In this talk, we will explain how and why the change happened. The main question we focused on is how the presidency changed over time. To answer this, we looked at early presidents, major historical events, and the modern presidents to see how the role evolved. What we found is that the presidency started small, but it slowly became much more powerful and demanding. The main claim we have is presidency has grown from a limited leadership role into a powerful national position, especially during crisis. This change reflects how Americans originally feared too much power in one person, but over time began expecting the president to take stronger actions and lead the country during difficult moments. Even with this growth, the Constitution still limits presidential power through checks and balance. At the beginning, George Washington set an example for what the presidency would look like. The Constitution, especially Article 2, gave the president limited powers. The main responsibilities were to enforce laws, lead the military, and represent the country. Washington was careful not to act like a king because the founders were afraid of giving one person too much power after breaking away from Britain. So early on, the presidency was very limited and controlled. A major turning point happened during the Civil War with Abraham Lincoln. The country was falling apart, so Lincoln took strong actions to keep the Union together. One example is he suspended habeas corpus during the war. Even though this was controversial, it showed something important. During national emergencies, presidents often expand their power beyond normal limits. This set a precedent that crisis can increase presidential power. Another major expansion happened with Franklin D. Roosevelt during the Great Depression. Millions of people were unemployed and the economy was collapsing. In response, FDR created the New Deal, which included programs to help people rebuild the economy. This also expanded the federal government and strengthened the bureaucracy, meaning more agencies were created to carry out laws and programs. From this point on, the presidency became much more involved in people's everyday lives. Today, the presidency is even more powerful and visible. Modern presidents use media, especially televisions and social medias, to communicate directly with the public. They also use executive orders to act quickly without waiting for Congress. Because of this, presidents today are expected to respond fast, solve problems, and lead in real life. This also shows the growth of informal powers, which are not written in the Constitution but still very important. The president also works with a bureaucracy which is made up of government agencies that help carry out laws. Some examples include the FBI, NASA, TSA, and FDA. These agencies help enforce policies and manage different parts of the government. Because of this, the executive branch is much larger and more powerful than it used to be. The president doesn't act alone, the system helps expand their power. Even though the presidency has grown, it's still limited. The Constitution creates checks and balance so no branch becomes too powerful. Congress can pass or block laws, and the court can decide if the actions are constitutional. This creates tension because the presidents often want to act quickly, but other branches may slow them down or challenge their decisions. So, is this expansion of presidential power a good thing or a bad thing? It can be both. On one hand, it helps the country respond faster during emergencies. On the other hand, it raises concerns about too much power being held by one person. That's why the system of checks and balance is still so important. Overall, the presidency has changed a lot since the beginning of the United States. It started as a limited role but grew over time because of wars, economic crisis, and public expectations for strong leadership. Even though the president is more powerful today, the Constitution still limits its powers to keep balance in the government. In the end, the presidency is always a balance of power and control. Thank you.